What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Unhinged Talk. As usual, I'm your host, Patrick Hennessy. Today I'm joined by Brian DeGennaro, Paraskevas Xenophontos, and we got Vin Bonaccorso back in the podcast. How you guys doing?
Good, man. How about you?
Doing well.
Can't complain. Same old, same old. We have an exciting topic to talk about today. But before we do that, let's just take another minute to shout out the Big 50, the men and moments who made the New York Yankees. It's quarantine.
I love that book.
Yeah, exactly. It's quarantine. I know you guys have nothing better to do. Let's just take a moment, read the greatest book of all time. Link in description. Use code Unhinged27 at checkout. Save yourself 27% off. Makes the book under $15, and it's a quality read. There's chapters about Aaron Judge, Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, the core four, Don Mattingly. If you're a fan of the player / moment, it's in the book. Read about it, buy it, cherish it. Yeah.
That book taught me how to read.
Exactly. This book teaches you how to read. Honestly, I think that the idea that Judge didn't win MVP over Altuve in 2017 is an absolute travesty. If you look at the stats comparing those two players throughout 2017, I think the only reason Judge didn't win is because there was a whole mentality that he had like a bad 2 months, so that means he had a bad season. But I have the stats right here. The only areas of the game where Altuve beat Judge, like stat-wise, was he had a higher batting average, he had more hits, and he had a slightly higher B-WAR and stolen bases. That's it. Every other aspect of the game, Judge beat Altuve in. He had a higher on-base percentage, much higher slugging, much higher OPS, double the home runs. He had like double the strikeouts, but who cares about strikeouts, to be honest with you? And his defensive runs saved. He had 9 defensive runs saved, over 3 from Altuve. You're talking about one of the best defensive right fielders. What aspect of the game did Jose Altuve, like, it just blows my mind.
I think that's what annoys me, is that when you talk about most valuable player.
Yeah.
How was Aaron Judge not the most valuable player in the American League that year? I want to hear one legitimate argument.
Mind.
I want one legitimate argument from even an Astros fan.
Well, Brian thinks Altuve should have won, so let's hear it, Brian.
No, I'll tell you something. The other thing is, like, the categories that Altuve was better than Judge in that year are all stuff that no one cares about anymore.
They're meaningless. Who cares about hits?
All the baseball statistics, batting average, stolen bases, no one cares about that anymore. People don't steal bases anymore.
That's where baseball fans as a whole, me, a baseball purist, this is why I hate a lot of baseball fans, honestly. I don't even dislike them. I hate them. Because the same people who will argue that Altuve won because he hit 330 or whatever he hit are the same people that discredit batting average for everybody else.
I agree. Yeah. It's so contradictory. It's ridiculous.
I don't understand what it is, but any baseball fan, any sports fan that looked at those two next to each other that year and the impact on their team, Aaron Judge is the MVP 10 times out of 10.
Yeah, I completely agree.
10 times out of 10.
I'll say this one thing about Judge. From the time he came up towards the end of 2016 but played a full season of 2017 through now, his strike zone, you don't even know what his strike zone is. A majority of the times he struck out is because calls that were supposed to be balls, they called strikes on him because he's such a big dude. That's why he has such a high strikeout percentage. That's why, because of his height. He has no strike zone.
It pisses me off so much, too, because you're watching it and, like, I understand umpires have a tough job. I understand. But the dude has played, 3 seasons now? You got to adjust. And, like, he isn't the first 6, 7 players. Frank Thomas, Richie Sexton.
Damn, I miss Richie Sexton.
Big Sexy, you know what I'm saying?
He was on the Yankees for like a month, I think.
For, I think, a whole year.
No, I think they traded for him at the 2008 deadline. But, yeah, I mean, he's not, like, Judge isn't the only big guy in MLB history.
I think that's what's really frustrating, especially for, like, the complete obviousness of some of these pitches that aren't strikes on a 6'1" dude, let alone a dude that's 6'7". I mean, the dude gets put in these constantly bad situations, and it ain't easy for a dude that relies on so much power to be such a graceful ball player where he can hit 280. That doesn't – that's just not easy, man. It's just not. Even John Carlos MVP year, didn't he hit like 265 with 59?
Yeah,
59 home.
I don't think he had. But that's the thing. Like usually when voters look at the MVP race, they no longer take into account batting average when they look at anything. Because if you're going that route, why didn't like Jeff McNeil win MVP last year? Like, let's just be real with each other. So why in 2017 was batting average finally taken into account again? It blows my mind. And the fact that it's possible that could have been like Judge's best season in his career. It's very well possible that it could have been, especially with all of his injuries and that he's getting older. The fact that MVP was stolen from him is absolutely disgraceful, especially considering that he was injured for about 2 months.
Yeah.
And he played right through it.
I think that's something that we have to understand is that maybe was not only the best season of Judge's career, but that was a historically great season. The dude had 6'7", 260 pounds, or whatever he is, and he scored 100 30 runs. And
he is pretty fast for himself.
But regardless, I mean, you don't see that. You don't see the year he had. On top of the fact that the dude is not inept in the field. He's not some DH that's just focused on hitting.
No, he's an awesome fielder. Yeah.
The best arm in baseball, and he's probably the best a top 3 best defensive outfielder in baseball.
I agree.
That year in the playoffs, did he rob Lindor or Jose Ramirez from a home run in that 2017 ALDS?
That saved their season. If we think about that really quick, if Aaron Judge did not rob that home run, I'm not sure if someone was on base or not. But if no one was on base, let's say, that they're down 1-0. I know that that 2017 had a lot of fight in them, but they were down 2-0 in that series. If they would have been trailing at all in that game, who knows if they would have been able to come back or not. So that robbery is significantly underrated. And probably there's a handful of other fielders in the game who make that catch. I was just lucky 6'7", or else he wouldn't have made it.
When people question how good Aaron Judge is or how good he is defensively, there's one play that I want everybody to look at and everybody to look back on. Can anybody guess what that play is that I'm thinking of? There's one particular play. Defensively, there's one particular play that if you ever question Aaron Judge being an absolute freak athlete.
He's raising his hand.
I'm going to say this. Is it the one where he threw out the runner at third base all the way from the right field corner?
That was unreal, but I'm talking about a purely athletic defensive play. Straight up, honestly, it was like...
Is it the Boston catch?
That's another incredible one, but no.
You could just keep naming awesome plays.
But, so in Tampa, when he covered...
Oh, is it the one where he ran out? Yeah.
Bro, when he covered like half a football field and laid out, completely full extension laid out. And, I mean, when I tell you I thought there was a literal 0% chance anybody caught that ball that he caught.
He covered so much ground.
Listen, that play should get the same kind of respect that Aaron Hicks' catch to beat the Twins last year did. As far as overall catch difficulty, that Aaron Judge catch, was absolutely obscene.
I don't know if I would put it on the same level as Hicks, but it was an awesome catch.
Bro, I need you to rewatch that video. I need you to rewatch it.
I'm going to pull it up. I'm going to pull it up for the viewers right now.
No, I'll put it on the screen.
Bro, Aaron – Pat, I want you to rewatch that video again and tell me that's not as good as Aaron Hicks, bro. I want you to tell me with a straight face that catch is not as good as Aaron Hicks' catch.
Pretty great.
That's ridiculous. I think that, especially, going off the Hicks catch and how great that was, something else is that, that's what I was going to say, is that Aaron Hicks, with the elbow issue, one thing about Aaron Hicks that I've known since he was – I think he threw out Vernon Wells when he was on the Yankees, Vernon Wells.
Yes. And Aaron Hicks when he was trying to go for a triple, yeah.
First of all, the one thing about Aaron Hicks is that he has a violent throwing motion, and it's because he has a cannon.
Yeah.
But that it happens. The elbow injury happens. I mean, I don't know if I can pinpoint on this play or that play, but regardless. But going back to Aaron Judge, talk about a dude that throws easy gas It looks like he doesn't try when he throws people out.
Effortless.
No, not at all.
It looks like he just lobs the ball in there. Next thing you know, it's going 100 miles an hour at second base. It's ridiculous.
I've never seen somebody. I've never seen a player in my lifetime of watching baseball. Not Vlad, not Ichiro, not anybody. That looks like he's having a catch with his son.
Blows my mind.
Throws at 107 miles an hour out of his hand, and
I'll say two players.
Throw out.
I'll say two players that made it look effortlessly. It was Yasiel Puig and Yoenis Cespedes. When they threw the ball, they did it with. Did it like
but
casually.
their motion kind of looks like a little bit violent. Like Puig has a violent throw to him. Judge is just like
Judge is
and
just
it's
smooth.
Like, but going back to like,
if you could edit in the particular throw I'm thinking about, where Judge throws out someone on the Red Sox going for a double from the corner.
I think it's Christian Vasquez.
It might have been Vasquez.
Yeah, I think so.
But he throws this dude out. He threw him out, and it looked like I thought he was lobbing the ball in. Like he got a double. It is what it is. And he hosed him. Like, and it wasn't even close. I was like, what on earth? Yo, this dude's arm is bionic.
But
and
honestly,
that's why I need Aaron Judge to be healthy more than he's just so much fun to watch. He is like the perfect baseball superstar. Again, I'm not saying he's as good as Mike Trout. Not saying he's as good as Yelich or whatever you want to say. Aaron Judge is the perfect baseball superstar.
I agree.
Personable, lovable, super filthy good on the field. Like the baseball needs Aaron Judge to get right health wise. They need
That's exactly why. Like when we go back to that 2017 MVP conversation, like when we just like how we looked at the stats, the only thing that Altuve beats Judge in is really hits and average, and like he beats him in less strikeouts. But what also we're not taking into account here is 2017 was prime Astros cheating. So obviously Altuve is going to be batting 346. And when you look back on that, it's crazy because if the Astros aren't cheating in 2017, what are Altuve's stats like?
I think Altuve is a good hitter and generally probably a solid.
I'm not discrediting Jose Altuve as a hitter.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. I know you're not. But
yeah,
I thought the best quote of like that entire thing was like, sure, Altuve is a good player. It was a pitcher. I forgot what pitcher it was in the MLB. But they were like, I would have liked to see Aaron Judge have known what pitch was coming.
That's exactly the point I'm trying to make here. He would have hit 150 home runs in 2017 if he knew what pitch was being thrown. Like, let's just be realistic. Yeah. Before Aaron Judge, suffered his injury in the home run derby, I'm pretty sure he was batting like 330. And then after the injury, his average went down. But he still finished the season with a 284 average, which is like unheard of for a guy like him. He had 200 strikeouts.
Stats.
I think that Aaron
I have
Judge,
his stats here. He batted 284 with a 422 on base percentage. That's ridiculous with 52 home runs. I mean,
insane.
And that's not knowing what pitch is coming to you.
That doesn't happen. That's like.
So looking back on it, let's follow Cody Bellinger and give Judge the MVP.
I don't think that it's far-fetched to say that legitimately, no jokes aside. I think if you tell Aaron Judge when a slider's coming, if you told Aaron Judge when a slider's coming or when a curveball's coming or a changeup, whatever it might have been, I genuinely think he hits 360 with 80 homers. I'm not even exaggerating.
I mean, I don't think he hits 80, but he's definitely passing 60, maybe 65.
Bro, you're telling me if Aaron Judge knew when an off-speed a slider in the dirt is coming and he lays off of it, you're telling me that in 28 more at-bats, he wouldn't go deep? Come on. He would have had probably 85 homers.
No, I mean,
honestly.
I'm with Vinny on this one. Another 20, 25 homers. I was not – because think about it. If he's going to connect with a couple of –
that's what I'm saying.
With 20 extra balls, those are homers.
It's possible, but do we think he would have broken the all-time home run record?
Absolutely.
Listen, you're talking about an entire MLB season. A dude who already hit 52 and probably should have hit more. 52 without knowing what's coming. 52 with getting fucked on strike calls and this or that. If he knew what was coming and laid off some of those things, and let's say he got 150 better PAs, and say a quarter of those PAs were homers, he has the home run record. Easy.
Possible.
Easily.
I mean, especially if he doesn't get hurt as well.
Bro, you got to think about it. He is literally like a superhero playing on a baseball field. When he connects, it doesn't make the same contact as everybody else.
It's the only way to describe him. And he's literally like the most. You could say he's the most underrated superstar in the game just because he gets hurt like a little bit more.
He's so underappreciated, bro. And this is why the Yankees fan base is so delusional to me. The people that say Aaron Judge is expendable or Aaron Judge is this, dude, do you realize what we have in Aaron Judge? That's what I want them to understand. When Aaron Judge is on the field, there's not many players I would rather have in my lineup over Aaron Judge. And that's just straight up. There's not many players in the entire game.
We kind of touched on that last week when we were talking about the captain discussion. We were comparing like the presence of Gleyber Torres and Aaron Judge. There's nothing compared to Aaron Judge. He's the closest we will probably ever get to Derek Jeter, except the argument could be made that Aaron Judge, when he's healthy, he's a better baseball player than Derek Jeter. It's an argument
without a doubt.
Yeah, I mean, his presence on the field and in the clubhouse, we need him on the field if the Yankees plan on making a World Series run with this core.
Listen, there's an argument to be made. I think a very logical argument. Hear me out. A very logical argument to be made that while healthy, there is nobody I'd rather have than Aaron Judge in baseball as a whole. Nobody.
I agree. But that health is a major question mark.
Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you were to give – I mean, listen, anybody on earth would like Mike Trout. Anybody.
Yeah.
But I don't consider Mike Trout on the same plane as anybody because he is literally a top 10 player already in the history of baseball.
Yeah.
I mean,
I agree.
It's obscene how good Trout is. But when it comes down to overall, like, as far as fitting – I'm sure Mike Trout could find his way in the Bronx. I mean, you know, like it's a hard environment, but someone that good, someone that amazing finds their way. But what Aaron Judge does is not, you know, that's not a normal thing. He takes on he took on New York City and ran with it. And fucking hit 52 homers.
Ridiculous.
So
absolutely ridiculous.
His first Yankees swing was a 450-foot bomb off the restaurant. Off the Hard Rock.
Yep.
That's right.
Like, bro.
Going back to that rookie year, I'm actually looking at an article ESPN wrote, and right after that home run derby, he batted 185 with only like 11 home runs. But in his last 16 games of the season, he batted 385 with 11 home runs, 24 RBIs, and had 19 runs scored in his last 16 games. And they actually said in the first sentence is Judge might have stolen the MVP award away from Jose Altuve. That's the first sentence in this article.
But the writers thought otherwise.
He was batting 185 for what, 2-3 months?
In 55 games after the All-Star break.
55 games. He's
still just about 2 months.
That's insane.
All right, so Pat, in context, 55 games, 3 at-bats a game, let's say 4 at-bats a game. That's how many like PAs total? It's over 200, right?
Yeah, I would assume so.
Okay, so over 200. So you're telling me with knowing the pitches,
if he
would
knew
not
the
have
pitches,
hit 20 more homers?
Yeah, he would have. If he knew the pitches, yeah. And if he was healthy, yeah. But, like, then you're bringing a lot of different things into account. Like, if he was on the Astros and he didn't compete in the home run derby, yeah, he would have hit 80 home runs.
Well, that's the fun of this, Pat. Come on, get on board.
Yeah, I mean, we're just playing here.
This is But it's all hypothetical because of what could have been, because of what literally the Astros did.
Yeah, I mean, no one knew that they knew what pitch. Besides Danny Farquhar, no one knew.
Oh my God, yeah, no, it's not. I mean, it's not hypothetical in the sense of like, you know, if this ever happened, like it did happen, like the Astros did it and the MVP did it, like that is it's a fact. Like that is what it is. You know, whatever Manfred disciplined them with, soft, yes, but it happened. It's over and done with. I mean, but that's why it's a hypothetical thought. But imagine how dangerous that would have been. It almost would have been dangerous for other players on the field if Aaron Judge knew that. For how hard that is, bro, come on. It's like that's like a weapon.
But in all honesty, like I think that we can all just come to a simple agreement here to wrap it up. That without a doubt, Aaron Judge should have been the 2017 MVP, especially looking back and seeing that Altuve was involved in the most massive cheating scandal in baseball history, there's zero doubt in my mind that Aaron Judge is the 2017 AL MVP. I think that there's really no debate about it. But you guys have anything left to say about the situation?
I just want to tell Yankee fans, appreciate Aaron Judge more. Thank you.
And Giancarlo Stanton and Gary
Exactly.
Sanchez.
Appreciate your stars.
We gotta have. Listen, next Unhinged Talk is going to be why our delusional fan base needs to appreciate Gary Sanchez.
Yes, please.
Why we have to
it.
appreciate Gary Sanchez. Seriously.
On that
Stay
note,
tuned, folks.
we will see you guys next week with more rants from Vinny.
Bye, delusions.